Welcome to Escape to the Country. Today I'm standing on the oldest golf course in the whole of England, which dates way back to 1864. So where am I? Find out in just a moment. On today's show, we're helping a very youthful, newly retired couple find their first long-dreamed-of rural home together.
Unbelievable, the amount of ground that's with this house.
You've got a river.
I know.
And the impact of one of the properties knocks them a little off course.
Are you serious?
Serious. Come back to me, Paul. Come back. Today I'm in North Devon on the championship course of the Royal North Devon Golf Club. Now, this 150-year-old course is regarded as the St Andrews of the South, with sand dunes that provide the perfect terrain for a classic links course. You can still play on these original fairways that golfers used to practice on, including local legend John Henry Taylor, who went on to win 5 Open Championships in the late 19th and early 20th century. Now, the course became popular with tourists when the railway made its way to the local town of Bideford. And although trains don't run to the town anymore, there's no shortage of visitors flocking to this most beautiful part of the county. Lying in the southwest of England, Devon borders Somerset to the east and Cornwall to the west, and has an unhurried, tranquil appeal. Its picturesque rural landscape is dotted with close to 4,000 exquisite thatched cottages, thought to be the largest concentration of historic thatch in the world. Providing contrast to its charming villages is the wide open wilderness of Exmoor, whose evocative heathland has inspired the work of many artists and writers, including Henry Williamson's 1927 masterpiece, Tarka the Otter. Williamson spent his later years in the Victorian seaside resort of Ilfracombe, which recently has drawn the attention of another notable creative talent, Damien Hirst, who has lent the town his striking 66-foot-high sculpture, Verity. Towering over the pier, this modern allegory of truth and justice has divided local opinion, but attracts a steady stream of curious visitors. A little further along the coast is Woolacombe, repeatedly voted one of Britain's best beaches. This 3-mile golden sandy expanse is perennially popular with families and surfers alike, and is just another glimpse of what this gorgeous county has to offer. With all that on offer, it's no wonder the average price of a detached home in Devon is almost £296,000. Now, that's around £30,000 above the national average. But inside the county's border, well, the north tends to be cheaper than the south. But prices can fluctuate wildly in small areas. For example, properties close to North Devon's golden sandy beaches can cost over 50% more than those close to a harbour town. So what is it about this beautiful region that has so attracted today's buyers? Well, let's meet them and find out. Since they met 11 years ago, Helen and Paul have been living in a 3-bedroom new build in the town of Stevenage in Hertfordshire. During that time, the location has offered them a handy commute for their jobs in London. Paul as a Class 1 lorry driver for a large food firm, and Helen as a detective sergeant for the Metropolitan Police. But just a few months ago, after working for close to 30 years in their respective jobs, the two of them decided to retire, giving them the freedom to leave their urban environment behind.
What we'd like is a little bit more ground, somewhere that, you know, you're not overlooked so much, and really to get away from that whole commuter belt that we've been doing for so many years.
The rat race, isn't it?
The rat race, yeah. Basically, Stevenage, I think it's just growing all the time. You know, they're building more houses everywhere, and, you know, that's not what we want for our future. We just want something a little bit more countrified.
We've got a chance to move away and start a new chapter.
A lot of Helen's family live in Wales, so it makes geographical sense for them to move to Devon. But it's not just for practical purposes that they've singled out the county as their new home.
We've both fell in love with North Devon, so We've stayed there, we've been on holiday there, and it's just great.
Feel good factor, I think, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
If it hadn't been for their job ties, Paul and Helen would have moved to the country years ago, because both of them are happiest when they're outdoors.
You're not cocooned in four walls. It's just nice to be outside and do things. You feel better in yourself.
Most of the things we like to do as well, you know, are outside-based, walking, cycling.
Yeah, and I'd
for
like
us,
to get
really.
some chickens and a few beehives and
Not too sure about the bees, but...
definitely a vegetable patch. Live the dream, as they say.
While Helen found her 30 years with the Metropolitan Police fulfilling, it was a very demanding and all-consuming career.
I'm looking forward to, I suppose, embarking on sort of doing things for me now and for us, and just kind of doing those hobbies that I never got a chance to do. I'd like to do some voluntary work. I'd like to help the elderly, and I'd like to do a bit of photography as well.
The couple are aware that finding a new rural home may require some compromises. And as to how those compromises will be arrived at, Paul seems to have it all worked out.
Apart from the outsides, living, doing, barbecuing, gardening, then my only up would be the kitchen. That's where I enjoy cooking. So if I could have the land or the ground outside to do my little projects and a big enough kitchen to do what I'd like to do, which is cook, then Helen could have the rest of the say.
Oh, thank you very much.
That's all right.
Paul and Helen would like easy access to family in Wales, so we're concentrating our search to the north of the county. I'm meeting up with them to find out more about their move.
So Paul and Helen, exciting times for the two of you, having just retired.
Yes, we both recently retired and we're still relatively young and looking forward to new challenges and new life ahead.
What about the actual property itself?
Ideally, it'd be a nice, detached, definitely detached, probably three beds, nice big kitchen, plenty of land.
Let's talk a little bit about the actual location of this new home. Ideally, rural, or would you rather be on the edge of a village?
On the edge of the village, I think, for us, so that you can dip in and dip out as much as you want, really.
What about the style? Are you after old period property character or new?
I think something with a little bit of character.
Yeah, fairly open, though.
Maybe a fireplace. Nothing too modern, I don't think. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Depends what you've got lined up for us.
And how much work are you prepared to do with this property?
What, renovation work?
Yes.
Not
No.
at all, no.
Ideally, open the front door, nothing needs to change.
That's it. Open your suitcase, move straight in.
Remind me of your budget.
Between 300 and 400,000.
Well, how quick could you move if we find that lovely house? What's the current
Give it an hour.
situation? Oh, right. OK, so have you sold your property?
No, it's on the market, so we're just waiting for it to be snapped up, and then we're good to go.
Well, of course, we have got our 3 properties lined up to show you. The first one is, it's not too far away, so should we get started?
Absolutely.
Follow me.
With a maximum budget of £400,000, Paul and Helen are hoping to find a characterful detached home with 3 bedrooms and a large, well-kitted-out kitchen for Chief Cook Paul. Outside, they'd like enough land to grow the produce he'll be using to whip up those fabulous meals, and space for bees and chickens would be a bonus. Lastly, they'd like to be within walking distance of a village. We've lined up some excellent houses to show them, and I'll be getting them to try and guess the price of each one before I reveal it. One will be the mystery house, which wasn't always a house. So will our couple be converted by its unique charm?
You are both young. You've now got all this time on your hands. You know, you've got to make new friends. You've got to find out, in a way, what you now want to do with the rest of your lives.
Yeah, it is very young. All our friends and things, you know, you're only 49, you can't possibly be retiring. And you see people that you don't know when you say you're retiring, and almost they're looking at you thinking, oh, you're not 60, you don't quite look that old.
We begin our search in the village of Berry Nabor, which is a mile inland from the north coast. This peaceful settlement, nestled in the beautiful and sought-after Sterridge Valley, is a 5-times winner of the Best Kept Village Award. It has an excellent tea room, a deservedly popular pub, and is surrounded by a network of quiet lanes and footpaths, perfect for Paul and Helen's outdoor pursuits. A short and scenic stroll from the village on a quiet no-through road is our first offering.
And here is your house.
Blimey. It's got lots of character about it.
Nice size, isn't it? The inside looks lovely.
Ideal size, yeah. Wouldn't want anything bigger, I don't think, would you?
Are you quite surprised?
Yeah.
The size, yeah.
I bet you're now keen to get inside.
Definitely, let's go.
7 years ago, this charming cottage underwent major refurbishment, which included new electrics and plumbing. This should please Paul and Helen, who are keen to avoid having to do any significant work on a new property.
So let's start off with our drawing room. And as you can see,
Cosy.
Oh, I
it's
like it.
lovely, isn't it?
it's got a lot of character.
It has fireplace.
Fireplace, yeah, lovely.
I love the windows as well because I thought it might have been a little bit dark. It's lovely.
And this is as big as you'd want for a lounge.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
Fantastic.
there's only the two of us.
Now the all-important kitchen. And I've got to look at Paul for that, haven't
You
I? 'Cause
have.
we've heard this is his domain. Let's see.
My
if
room, yeah.
It comes up to scratch.
Okay.
Let's see. So, Paul, it's all down to you. The kitchen.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yes?
That'll do. Lovely.
I could see him making lots of mess in here, definitely.
That's a
Definitely.
lovely, lovely size.
And especially with that big cooker there, Paul. I mean,
That is perfect, yeah.
You know, it's really lovely. Fantastic.
I like watching his face. Look, he was in a world of his own then, looking round.
I'm conjuring up a meal.
I can see you're really happy. It's wonderful. And if this wasn't enough, just to the right through the door, you can see we've got a utility room with access outside. You've also got a downstairs cloakroom.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Really
Good.
nice.
All right.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Let's see what you make of upstairs.
Upstairs off the split landing, there's an attractive, newly decorated family bathroom and 3 bedrooms, which include a good-sized double, an L-shaped room which could be a handy space for Helen's photography projects, and another double which we've earmarked for Paul and Helen.
And so here is the master bedroom, complete with your own little fireplace.
It's, again, lovely light room. Those windows really make a difference.
They do.
I love the doors.
Bit small.
Do you think?
Yeah.
But what the master does have is an ensuite.
Okay.
Ah.
But then also, you're only here to kind of sleep
Yeah.
and you don't spend your time in the bedroom, do you? So
You're going to be
I mean-
beekeeping,
Yeah.
tending the garden, baking bread. You're not going to
The time I'm up here, I'm out.
Good
Good for nothing anyway.
Exactly. You don't need a large bedroom.
No.
In all seriousness, does it feel a bit too cramped?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I walked in, I thought, bit small.
perhaps this is where we'll disagree then.
This could be the compromise.
Could be, yeah.
Now, I know outside space is really important for the two of you,
Yeah.
especially for the gardener.
The gardener.
Let's see what you make of that.
Paul might have found the master bedroom a little on the small side, but I'm fairly confident he'll be more than satisfied with the space outside, which includes a lawned garden, an attractive stone storage shed, patio areas perfect for those barbecues they're envisaging, and a garage just a little further down the road.
This is all your garden, including the greenhouse, and behind us, you've got about 1.5 acres of woodland. Yes.
With the house.
With the house. Now, at the moment, hasn't been landscaped, but you could do some fabulous terracing and take it back at least another 20
An
foot.
acre and a half.
An acre and a half. Your borders at the back.
I'll have to
Blimey.
get up there.
We're going to lose you. What I haven't told you, there's an additional piece of land just across the road.
All right down there.
Yep.
Seriously,
Going to go
wow.
there, look at the
I can't
babbling
believe
brook,
that.
and we're going to guess the price.
In terms of outdoor space, this property just keeps on giving. As well as the garage I mentioned earlier, the land on the other side of the house includes parking space for around 6 cars and another substantial lawned area, making up a total of just under 2 acres.
So, I think in a way I might have left the best till last, because this is your land as well.
I can't believe it. I really can't.
All this down there.
Yeah, you've got the babbling brook going through.
Unbelievable, the amount of ground that's with this house.
You got a river.
I know.
How much is this cottage on the market for?
I think it's going to be towards the top end of our budget, and I'll probably guess 390.
400 dead.
Okay, which is your
Top end.
budget, really, isn't it? The asking price for the cottage, nearly 2 acres of grounds, £365,000.
We're kind of way out then, really.
Now it's got you thinking, why don't you go and have another look around on your own, take your time, look at the garden, explore all that woodland up there, try and bring him back, because I've got more houses to show you. And we'll have another think as you go around.
Excellent.
Brilliant, thank you.
See you in a minute. Well, that really was a brilliant start. As soon as they saw this property, their faces just lit up, and I'm sure it delivered them from the inside, as I know it definitely did on the outside.
A significant £35,000 below Paul and Helen's budget, this characterful cottage has a cosy sitting room with a wonderful inglenook fireplace, a country kitchen that more than meets with Paul's approval, and upstairs there are 3 bedrooms. Outside there's almost 2 acres of land, which includes a woodland area, a brook, and plenty of space for Paul's veggies and bees.
It's a good start. I mean, I didn't think that you could get this much house and garden for that much money down here. My only reservation is the road that goes in front. I know it's not noisy, but just because you're kind of split up, I suppose, from your garden, so to speak.
My overall thoughts was fantastic from the off, really. There was a couple of little things that weren't quite right, like the size of the bedroom, or certainly the master bedroom. But then when you weigh it all up, you look at the land, where it is, with the river, all in all, it's not bad.
Have you seen enough?
We've seen enough.
You didn't lose him in all those gardens?
No, I've managed to bring him back to you.
Yeah? Have we inspired you?
Great start, probably number 1.
Good. And guess what? More to show you. Come on.
A large part of Devon's allure is its lush agricultural landscape, and playing a vital role sustaining its beauty and economic viability is the hard-working honeybee, which pollinates an estimated 1/3 of all food crops. The importance of these unassuming creatures has long been recognised in this county because it's home to one of the oldest beekeeping associations in the world. Founded in 1797, the Devon Beekeeping Association has several branches throughout the county, and budding apiarist Paul along with partner Helen are at one of the organisation's North Devon centres, meeting Master Beekeeper Kay Thomas, who's a volunteer here.
This is a teaching apiary, and the aim is to train all new beginners how to look after a colony, how to be safe with that colony for yourselves and for the general public, of course.
So, Kay, are bees still in decline in the UK?
The decline has a lot to do with the weather. You know, it's been a wet winter. They can control the cold, but they can't control the damp. And, you know, that is a real killer for bees.
Although weather conditions can't be controlled, there is plenty that can be done to support bee populations, which is one of the association's key aims. Members are shown how to carefully observe and maintain the health of a hive, which includes identifying and isolating signs of disease, safe pest control, and optimising bee diet.
So we'll walk around the back.
OK.
Suitably attired, Paul and Helen are joining Kay on a colony inspection to learn more about these intriguing insects.
So what we need to do then is give them a little puff of smoke.
Got the smoke to Kay.
It makes them take on board honey and ready to fly off in case there's, you know, this is danger. And so once they've filled their stomachs up with honey, they can't actually bend their abdomen forward in order to sting.
One colony can consist of as many as 100,000 bees and is made up of 3 different types: female workers, male drones, and 1 fertile female or queen.
There we are.
If the weather is good, one hive can produce around 60 pounds of honey in a season. And to make just 1 pound, a colony of bees will collectively fly as many as 24,000 miles.
So these wooden boxes are actually what we're trying to simulate as a bee's natural house. And we put up bait hives to attract them so that they are quite happy to come into a wooden box.
Bees have been producing honey in the same way for over 150 million years. And in Roman times, honey was sometimes used by citizens to pay their taxes instead of money.
That's right.
How's that?
Lovely.
To complete their apiary experience, Kay is going to treat Paul and Helen to honey, collected from some of the association's different Devon branches.
Lovely.
Lovely. And what makes the honey taste slightly different?
Each colony forages on a different group of plants, which alters the flavour altogether. This is the heather honey.
Oh, it's quite hard.
Yes.
Thank you. A little stronger again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, hope you've enjoyed your day.
Thank
What
you.
do you
We
think?
have.
Had a
Excellent.
superb day. Really,
Thank you,
really
Kay.
enjoyed it. Thank you very much,
Good.
Kay.
Travelling 25 miles further south, we reach the village of Buckland Brewer, the second stop on our house hunt. Set in a beautiful wooded valley, this tranquil rural settlement can be located from miles around by the 75-foot high tower of its 500-year-old church. Another main focal point here is the 13th century award-winning pub, which happens to be within walking distance of our second property, a Victorian home that was built in 1830.
Here is your second property.
Oh, well, that's nice.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, very impressed. It looks like it's well maintained as well.
It looks fresh. It's got a nice feel. Again, character to it, but a different character than the previous one.
Well, the logical way to get in would be through the front door. But guess what?
We're not.
It's not.
We're in the country. We're going to use the tradesman's entrance. Pardon me.
Okay.
I say tradesman's entrance, but in actual fact, we're entering through an extension that was added to the property in the early 1990s to create a wonderfully bright conservatory which leads through to the kitchen.
But of course, this is where the magic's going to happen, isn't it, Paul? So you've got a long... Well, I'm not going to call it a galley because I don't think that's fair because it's wider than a galley kitchen, but it is very long, and you've got a dining area right at the end.
I think it's nicer in a way because the dining area is kind of separated from
yeah.
the kitchen. It's not in the actual kitchen.
It's a nice kitchen, not as nice as the first one.
Oh, Chef's not quite happy, is he? But I'm just going to add that Chef does have an informal dining area,
Yeah.
but Chef also has the formal dining area through those doors at the end.
OK, that's the trade-off.
And it's quite large, the
Okay.
dining room. So if Chef, I doff my cap, wants to take up the whole space,
Okay.
you could actually extend it if you
Right.
wanted to.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, let's continue through here. So when this house was built, it was literally a 2-up, 2-down lodge. So you'd have had one reception room here, and then you've got another reception room, the same dimensions on the other side of the staircase. So it's symmetrical.
First impression, I'm thinking a bit smaller than I thought in here. Fireplace is lovely. It's great. And I love the bay window. From the outside, I think you conjure up a larger property.
Yeah, very much so,
But when I came through the kitchen door there, I thought, oh, it's quite small.
Yeah.
I agree.
Let's see what you think of upstairs.
Okay.
A slightly less enthusiastic response here compared to our first property, and size seems to be the issue. Upstairs, there are 3 generous doubles plus another small room that is being used as a study. There are no en-suites, but there's a family bathroom as well as a shower room.
Now, none of the bedrooms sort of say master. I picked this one to show you because of the views.
Fantastic views, isn't it?
Yeah, imagine waking up to that in the morning. View's fantastic. Again, it's a lovely room.
Yeah. And because it's got 3.5 bedrooms up here, you could commandeer that study and make it into a dressing room. Itching to see what's outside?
Itching.
Itching. Back down the stairs then, please.
Outside, the 1/3 of an acre plot stretches up behind the house, where a path leads to an established orchard and a wonderful wooden summer house. There's also plenty of scope for Paul's gardening ambitions.
Now here, you have your own little oasis because this part of the garden has been completely terraced. We have our own little pond down there.
Lovely.
All these vegetable patches, your own greenhouse. I mean, this is a wonderful vegetable plot.
It is fantastic.
And the seating area down there is lovely. That's
Yeah.
really nice.
Just below that, you've got a huge garage. The owners, they use that, obviously, for work, and it's a wonderful workshop. And if this wasn't enough, just look over your shoulder. You've got a beautiful lawned garden behind us, plus right at the back, you've got some freestanding where they can park about 7 cars and access to the back of the property again.
The garden, the grounds are fantastic. Little oasis up here.
It is.
Fantastic.
So now I want you to guess the asking price of this property with the land.
I reckon 385.
OK?
I'm going to go a lot higher. I think it's 420.
Asking price is £390,000.
Ching ching.
You were the closest.
You are the closest. Why don't you take another look around? I'll see you when
Okay.
you're ready.
Thank you.
£10,000 below their maximum budget, this appealing period home has a recently renovated kitchen diner and a separate formal dining room. There are also 2 reception rooms, 3 bedrooms and a study. Outside, the third of an acre plot includes a ready-made veggie garden, an orchard and that large workshop, perfect for Paul's gardening and beekeeping equipment.
From the outside, it looks really stunning. I was a little bit disappointed, I suppose, with the size of the 2 sitting rooms downstairs.
The property itself would work really well for me, for certainly the vegetables, and even like a little small holding. It'd be ideal for chickens, and there's enough space where you could easily put a few beehives, which would be really great.
This is your territory
wow.
in here.
This is what you call a man cave.
Is that upstairs as well?
Yeah,
So the-
got a mezzanine floor, look. Fantastic.
Upstairs, 2-floor garage.
I could live in here. There's so much you could do in here.
Between the garden here, I think, and the man cave, I probably might as well move in on my own. I'd never see Paul.
So how's it been looking around the property on your own?
Excellent. We've had a really good look round.
Yeah? Happy? Paul?
Very happy, yes, thank you.
Well, that's it for today. Shown you our 2 properties, but we have another one lined up for you tomorrow.
Well, we've got an awful lot to talk about tonight.
We
Good.
have.
That's a good sign.
We have.
It's the second day of our house search, and with a budget of £400,000, newly retired couple Paul and Helen are hoping to leave their old commuter lifestyle in Stevenage, Hertfordshire, for a dream home in Devon. Coming up, a tour of the mystery house proves to be a moving experience.
You've got a bit emotional, haven't you? But that's good. That's what you want with a property.
And at a first-of-its-kind farm, I encountered the prehistoric fish behind the world's most luxurious food.
Now, I was not expecting this. Paul and Helen are desperate to move to the country, and I think yesterday we got pretty close finding them that perfect property. Now, both the gardens they saw had the land that Paul so desperately craves. He wants to grow tons of vegetables, he wants to keep bees, he even wants a few chickens. But the houses themselves, perhaps they thought they were on the small side. I didn't think so. It's time for our final offering, the mystery house. Now, we're going to show them a property that's immersed in village life. Well, it has to be. It's right in the heart of it.
And being in the heart of the village means there's a significant compromise for Paul. The village is Chittlemolt, and to get there we've journeyed 17 miles inland. In the 16th century, the settlement was on the main Barnstaple to Exeter route, and the attractive inn that once served the many coaches coming through is still a popular hub today. A more recent addition to the village is a much-valued community shop that was set up by a group of dedicated locals after the post office closed here in 2009. A stone's throw from the shop is our final property, which once served a vital community role of its own.
How about this as your mystery house?
Looks lovely from the outside, very quaint.
So, any idea what this building used to be?
Looks like an old school.
Do you know what? You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a school right up until the end of the war, and there's residents in this village that still remember this property as a school. Isn't that lovely?
Beautiful story.
I love the look of the brickwork. You
Yes.
know, it's obviously got that history element to it.
Yeah.
And it's all on one level. Is it? Ish.
Well, I think we should start with the inside, don't you?
Sounds good.
Made from local Devon stone, this old schoolhouse dates back to around 1830. It's had many makeovers since then, and the most recent was by the current owners, who purchased the property 3 years ago.
So welcome to the school.
I like it.
Wow, it's lovely. Really nice.
Lovely room, isn't it?
You didn't have lessons in a building like this, did you?
No, and you won't be banging your head on these high ceilings, will you? I'm amazed.
That's good, isn't it? Yeah.
Really, yeah. Nice
Love it.
size as well, I think.
Clean, tidy, fresh.
It's lovely.
Oh, I'm impressed.
Impressed so far?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Definitely.
great. Should we make our way down the hallway?
Yeah.
Just off the living room is a downstairs bathroom, and next to that there's a separate shower room. But now we're going to take a look at what's at the other end of the house.
So you have a dining room leading on to the all-important kitchen. Come on in, Paul. Have a little look.
What do you think, then?
That's, well, along with the separate diner, that's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
You know.
Because I think that's what we were hoping for, I think, was so you didn't have to eat in the kitchen.
Yes.
I
Definitely.
like it.
Sold it to the chef.
That's the main thing. Yes. Well, you were worried, weren't you, that there weren't any stairs in this property?
Yes.
I thought it'd be all on one level, but you can surprise me.
Shall we explore, shall we?
Well, most of the accommodation is this one level and comes off the main hallway, but there's also a staircase that leads to some rather interesting additional rooms.
Come on in, because I'm going to explain the layout with the school. Downstairs, you've got 2 double bedrooms, and the owners actually use one of those as their bedroom as the master. But up here, you've got a single bedroom behind us, and then a double here with a huge dressing room.
Wow. I don't know what to say. I'm completely shell-shocked. I never expected anything like this up here. I didn't even think there was an upstairs, to be honest, from the outside. It just looks like it's all on one level.
What can you notice in this room?
The original beam. for
A
something.
beam,
Beam,
yeah. The owners are looking in to having the beam removed, but obviously, structurally,
Yeah.
you've really got to make sure that you're able to do it. If you can, it will transform up here. Or you could change this room. It doesn't have to be a bedroom.
No, yeah, I mean, you could use it as a study or, you know, you put your computer and sofas and things up here.
Loving it so far.
Loving it. Oh. Mystery House is working its magic.
It definitely is.
Time now, though, to go outside and see what you make of that garden.
They didn't seem at all fazed by the unconventional upstairs rooms. In fact, I think they rather like this place. I'm now just hoping that their enthusiasm isn't diminished by what's on offer outside. Because being within a village, this property has quite a lot less land than the other 2 we showed them.
So who wanted chickens? There they are, especially for you.
Brilliant, isn't it?
So you've got a very large shed-stroke garage there. As you see at the side of the property, there's enough parking there for 3 or 4 cars.
What about for you for
and that's-
size then?
That's the important
Yeah,
thing.
this is the compromise, isn't it? It's a nice sized garden,
Yes.
very manageable. You got chickens, you got boarders. It's a good sized garden. I like it.
Do you?
I like it.
It was the one bit I was
Yeah.
slightly reserved about.
When you weigh everything up, you've got to compromise with
away.
something.
Yes. So, what price are you going to guess it's on the market for?
I reckon 420.
I reckon it's over our budget,
Yeah.
and I think it's higher, 440.
Let's see how you cope with this one. The asking price, £355,000.
Are you serious?
Serious. Come back to me, Paul. Come back. Come back. Come on. Come back.
Laughing.
What do you think?
God, where do we sign?
I thought this was going to be well over, the budget. I really did, for what you get. Really did.
You've got a bit emotional,
I
haven't
know.
you? But that's good. That's what you want with a property. It's about a feeling. It's about a home. It's about a change of life. It's the cheapest of
It's
all
the
the
cheapest
houses.
of the 3 and the best.
Yeah. Go on, have another look and I'll catch up with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, you can't beat a reaction like that. It is a superb property, but when it comes so much under budget and gives them everything they want with a little compromise, the Mystery House really has delivered.
A substantial £45,000 below Paul and Helen's maximum budget, this attractive schoolhouse certainly delivers the character they're looking for. It has a large living room with a high vaulted ceiling and a sleek kitchen with adjoining formal dining room. There are 2 good-sized bedrooms downstairs and 2 more upstairs in the unique beam loft. Outside, the garden may not be big enough to accommodate bees, but there is room for chickens.
Well, I think it was just a big shock how nice it was. I mean, it looked great from the outside and even better from the inside. I'm just totally blown away by the place.
Well, there's nothing I don't like about this house. It's really lovely.
I mean, ideally I wanted more land, but it's a lovely garden, it's very workable, the price is great, and so you can compromise a bit of land, so it all works really well.
I suppose the only thing we have to discuss is whether if this is the village for us. But certainly I'm amazed, totally amazed.
My goodness, that went so well. How are we?
Excited, yes. That certainly ended on a high.
Good. Well, should we go somewhere quiet and we can have a proper chat and find out, well, really, where you go next?
I think we need to, yeah.
Rivers form a commanding feature of the Exmoor landscape. Close to 300 miles of them carve their way through this beautiful region. One of those rivers is the Mole, which provides a vital element in the production of one of the world's most expensive delicacies at a pioneering local business, the UK's first and only caviar farm. The river runs right through this rural enterprise, which was launched 4 years ago, and I'm here to quite literally immerse myself in it by learning more from one of its founders, Ken Benning.
Well, I must admit, Ken, it's not every day someone asks me to meet them in the middle of a river. So what exactly is caviar?
Caviar is the sturgeon's salted roe.
So is that the eggs?
That is physically the eggs, yes. There are like salmon caviar or trout caviar, but actually that's not proper caviar. Proper caviar only comes from the sturgeon.
The River Mole is key to your production of caviar.
Yes.
So what's so special about this water?
Well, let me show you, Nicki. The water straight from the river. Absolutely fresh.
Clean and fresh.
Not touched, absolutely natural. This is probably, I think, one of the best water sources in the world. You ready?
Yeah, I say I don't want to be falling over in this river.
Each day, 40 million gallons of fresh Exmoor spring water flows through the farm's tanks, creating a more natural environment for the fish, unlike most sturgeon farms elsewhere that rely on temperature-regulated, recirculated water.
There you go.
Now, I was not expecting this.
Yeah.
I thought a sturgeon was going to look like a fish, but this looks prehistoric to me.
Sturgeons predate the dinosaurs. They are a species that's been around for 250 million years.
And how old would this little one be?
This little one here is about 2 to 3 months maximum. It's this year's sturgeon. This would have been an egg about 3 months ago.
After years of overfishing, sturgeon are an endangered species, so sustainable farming like this gives populations in the wild a chance to recover.
And how long do you keep them for in total?
They will grow before they're produced or processed for the caviar or for the meat. They will be about 7 to 10 years.
Oh, look at him, he's lively.
I'll put him back there.
These ancient fish come with an impressive pedigree. Back in the 1300s, they were classified as a royal fish by King Edward II. So before Ken was able to begin rearing them, he had to receive special permission from the Queen.
My goodness. Look at her.
She's a big girl.
She is, isn't she? And is this sort of the optimum age to produce caviar?
She is fully mature, ready for production.
And is this why caviar is so expensive? Because the process from start to finish takes so long?
It's taken, of this girl, she's probably, I'd say, 10 to 12 years of age. And she wants to go back in.
She does.
It's not just the caviar that's taken from the humanely culled fish. The meat is smoked and sold too, so nothing is wasted.
I'm going to be cheeky, I've got to ask. How much is that amount of caviar worth?
In a London food hall, about £600.
Really?
Yes.
Cornish sea salt is added to the roe to help bring out the flavour. It's then packed into tins where, after 3 to 4 months, the salt will have fully merged with the eggs.
So you try this.
Right, here we go. This is something else.
Very clean.
Very clean, wonderful texture. Ken, here I am standing with a hairnet on, eating one of the most expensive foods in the world. But in my head, I'm in a posh restaurant in Saint-Tropez. It's absolutely delicious.
Close your eyes and taste it.
Thank you very much indeed. I will. Well, we've shown Paul and Helen all 3 of our properties here in North Devon, and we certainly ended on a high with our mystery house. But how actually committed are they? Let's go and find out. So Paul and Helen, we've had a fabulous few days. Blue skies, the sun has shone. But did we manage to find you your perfect property?
I think it's gone really, really well. I mean, you've shown us 3 quite different properties. And, of course, the mystery house was the one that neither of us expected, I think, and has somewhat blown us away.
It's interesting, that property, because it didn't have the huge garden that you were after, whereas the first 2 did. But it didn't seem to worry you so much.
Well, it's a compromise, isn't it?
You could move straight into it. There was nothing that needed doing, outside or inside.
We could see ourselves living in the property, but whether it's in the location or the village, we just need to explore that just a little bit more, you know, just a tad further.
But what happens next?
I guess we're going to need a deep and meaningful conversation. Possibly take a second viewing, and then, if all goes well, maybe speak to your estate agents.
And how quickly are you going to have that second viewing?
Hopefully tomorrow morning.
Oh, my goodness! Really positive. Well, we're absolutely thrilled, and I'm really hoping the village, with the community, the shop, the pub, and everything that goes with it, is enough to convince you that it is the right area you want to move to. Whatever happens, let us know, won't you? Please keep in touch.
We will, most
Great.
definitely.
Thanks both very much. And by the way, enjoy your retirement. I'm very jealous.
Thank you.
And thank you so much as well.
Well, a successful couple of days house hunting, and there's always a real sense of achievement when they fall in love with our mystery house. And acres of land? Ha! Who needs it? It just remains to be seen whether Paul and Helen will fall in love with the village as much as they did our mystery property. And if so, then maybe their North Devon dream could soon become a reality. Join me next time on Escape to the Country.
If you would like to escape to the country in Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, England, or perhaps even further afield to the continent and would like our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.